Okay, cool. Started on the first try. All right, all right. Let me. I don't even have the other platforms checked up as far as Kick and Twitch. I mean, I guess it's just the utility of doing it. If ever this expands, you can. I'll have. Hey, I've already been doing this, and I already have it established. So it's one less thing to do in the future. I don't know. I don't know, but hey, somehow I got 25 followers on Twitch, and how many followers? Like 34, something like that. On Kick, 39, almost 40. So for whatever it's worth. So let me check. Are we live? I said, oh yeah, I didn't ask the question, but I've already checked. We're good. We're live on all three platforms. So I'm gonna ask a question I do know the answer to. Are we live? I say, are we live? Looks like we are. Vigilante wins here in the 174th episode of VW Casual. Hopefully I got his 174. Hey, Rastuco, appreciate you being here. Dope, dope, dope. Because that's what it actually is. But I don't know. I think I just copied it. Impromptu, which a lot of these lives have been. So, one, two. Hey, Retro Richard, appreciate you being here as well. Let me make sure I got this. Oops. Stream right. Just got off of work. We'll be headed to the gym. I want to go a little later, though. It's too, believe it or not, it's just too many people there at midnight. And I get it that the people at midnight are probably trying to avoid the rush as well. And honestly, it's just a populated gym. It's getting crazy out here, fam. What made you say that? Which I don't disagree, because I keep seeing all these fucking things pop up about the Houston area and all these fucking robberies. And it's always something. It's like, God damn, I want to buy a house here. And, you know, I've looked in houses in the city limits of Houston, too. I'm not really freaking out about it, but at the same time, it's like, Jesus, man. No, I'm lying. I am freaking out. I'm freaking out about buying. But, you know, the safety thing is the thing. People getting arrested for speaking. What you talk? I don't know if I'm paying attention enough. Who got arrested for? Well, I do see that shit happening over in the UK. What happened here? Who got arrested for just speaking? I didn't see that. Yeah, so, because this is something I realized. I'm trying to buy a house. I got to work and stuff. I didn't realize how much of your energy it takes trying to buy a house. Because, I'm like, all right, I'm about to do two. I got an album that I need to finish. That's pretty much finished. All I got to do is just spend a good day and a half, maybe 2 days recording it and putting it together. I got it written, produced, all that. I'm just bullshitting. And then I got this protesting as a form of speech. So I've seen some of the stuff with the girl, the ICE protest. The girl got shot, and then people are protesting that. People are getting arrested at these protests. I mean, I know people usually, ironically, because that's not nothing new. People do get arrested at protests, whether they should or not, is a thing. And whether we still have the First Amendment or not is a thing too, right? So, but I haven't really, not to be like a self-centered asshole, I just haven't been paying attention because, like I said, I've been kind of focusing inward, and then I'm trying to, like I said, get in shape. So I haven't been paying attention to the news as much as I used to, and then some of that's intentional anyway because the news always brings me down. But anybody that's just driving by being attacked, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. I'm not keeping up with the day-to-day and the ins and outs of these protests. I know there's a lot of AstroTurf. I know that from even the earliest days on this channel when I was covering some of the George Floyd protests and covering some of the ones, this in particular the one that caused the whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation, showing how there was some fuckery afoot, some AstroTurf, because there's always AstroTurf on both sides. They do a lot of the heavy lifting with a lot of this shit. But, it's still a big news story. People, I feel you. I kind of feel similar, though, because, like, I got stuff. I'm very stressed about trying to buy a house. Stressed to the point, like, I feel like I ain't been this stressed in a while. You know what? No, I know last time I was stressed the last time I tried to buy a house 3 years ago. 4 years ago. It was exactly 4 years ago. And then I moved here. I wanted to buy a house before I moved. And I'm still trying to buy a house before my lease is up. And it's the same time and the same thing. Family of 6 got hit. God damn. Similar thing happened in Detroit years ago where they raided the wrong house. And the cops went into the wrong fucking house, do a flashbang, and they killed the kid, the flashbang. God damn. Well, they were just driving through. And think about this. You just said you don't care about the protests. Let's say you don't care about the protests, but you live in a city that's being protested, and you're driving, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a protest, but I didn't care, so I didn't know it was happening, so I got to drive through this motherfucker. I don't know that was, they were just going home. So you know what I mean? You got to think, if there's a protest, like let's say there's a protest in this area, but I'm not paying, which this could happen to me because I'm told to say, like I said, I feel the same way, but you got to think of what you just said. Hey, and some people don't. Well, I don't care about this shit. Don't affect me. And then you drive, you're like, oh shit, they protesting here. I didn't know that. Whoop the whoop, and then all of a sudden you get into some bullshit because of that, because they protesting in your area. Not saying that that's what's happening, but I mean, that is pretty bad. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. That is fucked up. So I didn't hear that story. I didn't. Like I said, I don't care, so I don't pay attention. But that's the curse of it. If you don't care, you don't pay attention. The shit can literally be right at your fucking door, and you don't even fucking know. Because literally, I've been driving. It's funny. I've been driving around Houston more again, looking for a house. If they were, luckily, they usually protest downtown, and I ain't nowhere near downtown. But I didn't know if they do have like local area protests for this region, I wouldn't fucking know. I could drive right into one and not have a fucking clue. So that's the curse of not caring, not paying attention. And I'm not saying this is a right or wrong. I'm just saying that that's the reality, and it's a fucked up story of somebody that happened. Maybe let me see if I can find an article, read it. I didn't know these protests were getting this bad. Because again, like I said, I've been paying attention, but maybe I should. If it's that crazy. Now, let me look for this story. They're hoping nobody pays attention to what's really going on. Yeah, to a certain extent. And they're hoping a lot of people, and they're right. But there's, hey, Fizz, appreciate you being here. And hey, OG, if I ain't say nothing to you. OG, a.k.a. LR. But that's the curse of it. The gift of it is, okay, I'm not letting them get me caught up in some shit. But, and a lot of people, we just burnt out. I mentioned 2020. A lot of people are just burnt out from the concept of it. And I would be lying if I said there was no design to that. But there's a lot of times you just get like, oh man, it's always something. I don't care. This don't affect me. And that's literally kind of how I feel, to be honest. That's why I've changed the channel to not really talk that much about politics. That doesn't mean that's necessarily, there's good. There's like anything. Shout out to, what was his name? Thomas Sowell. He says there's always trade-offs. There's always trade-offs. So not spend, and then there's also something to be said about balance. Oh, geez, did this copy everything? I just wanted to copy. Man, fuck all this. There's something to be said about balance. There's something to be said about trade-offs, right? Let's see. I'm looking for the article. I see videos on it. I guess we could watch a video as well. And what is it? Sheesh. Yeah, Lord Facebook. I don't feel doing this. Where's the video? If I gotta watch a video, I'll watch a video. Is there a YouTube one? Here you go. Okay, hold on. Hopefully we don't get no ads. We shouldn't. Let's see if the ad blocker wants to work. Okay.
Now, it's really interesting because I'm listening to Maury say that it got really calm, and I think when it was really calm where he is, it was getting pretty chaotic where we were.
Hold on, I'm pausing. There was a second shooting incident. I didn't know there was another shooting incident. Golly, so they are trying to escalate. They're escalating the hell out of this, man.
Tensions were getting pretty high where we were on our end of Lindale. So I don't know if they're trying to ping pong the protesters or what, but he was saying it was suddenly calm over there where it was when it was tensions were really high on our end.
Here's another thing I was just thought about. This all happened in Minnesota. It's one of the coldest fucking places in the country. Minnesota is basically like Alberta, Canada. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the coldest places on fucking earth, basically. Jeez, like protesting in this weather. What the fuck?
And again, I'm not exactly sure where Maury's located, but we are not in the same location. I've not run into Maury tonight, so I think we're on opposite ends of this stretch of street that is blocked off right now. If you were watching a few minutes ago, you saw that we had chemical irritants and flashbangs thrown into the crowd here. The crowd quickly dispersed. You could hear people saying that they had gotten pepper sprayed and that there were flashbangs. What we saw happen right before that was we saw that state patrol line in riot gear back up. So they were backing up down the street closer to the scene before they then deployed these irritants and these flashbangs. What we're witnessing down here from these protesters is some of them are getting quite close to the state patrol in riot gear, and they're letting them know that they are not happy with what's happening in Minneapolis right now. In fact, they're questioning why state patrol is down here protecting ICE. I've heard protesters say to them, stand with us, not with them. But these protesters have been shouting obscenities towards the ICE agents when we were in a different location, and then start throwing things. That is when they disperse those chemical irritants. I don't know. They also could be dispersing those chemicals. He was just trying to get his kids out of the neighborhood. He had flashbangs. We also are using chemical irritants. They are using flashbangs. We also talked to an individual who was not involved with the protest, and he was just trying to get his kids out of the neighborhood. He had 6 kids loaded into his car, including a 6-month-old, when law enforcement threw a flashbang at his car, and now he has told us all 6 of his kids were transported to the hospital. We saw EMS come in. We expect that they are going to be okay, but obviously that father tonight is very worried about his kids. When he says he wanted nothing to do with this protest, he was just trying to get out of here when he got caught up in all of this. So it's a good reminder that this is a neighborhood. People live here, and right now there's a little bit of chaos in this neighborhood.
Jesus. So I genuinely feel bad. He just lives there. And it's like, all right, let's leave. And got caught up, should have left earlier, obviously. But, I mean, it's not, I don't know. Sometimes you can't. And I don't know if I had myself muted, because I accidentally had myself muted a couple of times. I paused. So apologies for that. But Minnesota is basically like Alberta, Canada. And shout out to the listeners. But and the fact that it's one of the coldest fucking places on earth. So all this shit is happening in the freezing fucking cold. And I think it gets dark. Doesn't it get dark there a little earlier too? It said there was a second shooting because somebody went at a guy, one of these ICE agents with a shovel. I didn't know that either. Shit, maybe I need to be paying more attention to this shit. This shit crazy. I feel bad. Yeah, if you can't drive, not even drive home. They were apparently driving to leave because they lived. At least that's what she just said. You can't even, shit. You buy a home, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's the stress that I got. Trying to get a home, got a family. You're like, all right, let's leave. You're trying to do the right thing to stay safe. There's nothing, that's not on them. That's fucked up. And listen, I'm not as political as I once was, right? I'm not a big fan of ISIS tactics, and I am a little bit worried about the precedent of their enforcement. That is not necessarily standing. That's not independent on. And honestly, I don't even have a super big anti-immigration, anti-immigrant, anti-illegal. I'm not that big on it. I understand it. I understand protecting your borders, but I'm not really super anti that or pro. It's just, like, I got a lot of concerns, right? My own health, my own life. Not to be self-centered, but it's like I gotta live. So things that aren't like I need to have an opinion on, I kind of don't have an opinion on. But I will say this: I don't like the way a lot of the ICE shit, the lack of due process. That's never a good thing to fuck with, right? Lack of due process, lack of stuff. That's independent on whether or not you should be protecting your borders, whether or not you should be enforcing the law. That said, America has to decide how they want to do it, because you can't. They keep halfway crooking it. They keep literally. You have one president drawing people to the border and creating incentives, and then the next guy is literally have a Gestapo force. And then this is why I think it's important, to recognize it is once you see things from the perspective that both sides are in concert, now you see why one thing happens. This is intentional. Let's bring immigrants in so we can create a police force that can bend the rules a little bit, and we continuously bend the rules in law enforcement. Especially if you want, because I am still a conspiracy theorist at heart. But I've been, trying to say, hey, I'm not going to pay attention to a lot of this stuff. Got other stuff to focus on. Like I said, finish music, lose weight. The main thing is music, weight, house right now. And it is stressful. It makes me like sick. But when you're doing this in a residential area, this has to stop before it gets worse. And Fizz, not sure if maybe you have it, maybe you haven't. I'm pretty sure though, because it's been a big story, but just in case, because we haven't talked about it. A few weeks ago or last week or whatever it was, there was an ICE agent in Minneapolis. There was a girl. She went there to protest because I forgot where she was from. Was it like Colorado or Oklahoma? She was from somewhere else, but she went there to protest. The guy was in front of her car, and she was driving a car, and I didn't actually even see the video. I'll be honest. I didn't look. I don't like looking at people die anyway, right? But the ICE agent ends up shooting the girl. So people then, after they were first protesting ICE, then they were protesting that shooting, and more shit has been happening since, including, I guess, and I didn't even know about this until just a few minutes ago, checking out that news story, that somebody else got shot because they attacked the ICE agent with a shovel. At least that's the story. So, yeah, he got shot in the leg. So that's what's going on in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I feel for the family just trying to live, because that's all I'm trying to do, is just trying to live, just be a normal person who just, hey, they didn't want nothing to do with the protests. A man said, hey, we're going to get out this neighborhood in case they start burning shit down and fucking things up. Let's get the fuck up out of here. And then something happened. They're breaking into vehicles, building roadblocks, attacking people. See, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about none of this. I've been not paying attention. And shout out to Rastuco telling us about this story about a family got hit with a flashbang just trying to leave the area to avoid the bullshit. So, tons of crazy shit. We'll see what happens. Thank you, listeners. I hope I find a house too. I hope I do too. We'll see. I talked to my current landlord too about my lease. This is nervous. Yeah, these aren't protests. I am aware that there's always, and I said that about the original ICE protest. Yes, there's a lot of astroturf afoot. Sheesh. Saw some. She was not complying. She was told to stop, get out the car. She didn't. She drove against the guy. Checked him in the hip. Oh, shit. So he had actually been dragged under a car 6 months earlier. So he had a little trauma from that. Oh, shit. He got cleared of charges. Stealing firearms, pulling over citizens, demanding unwarranted searches. That's fucking crazy. You talking about ICE is doing all this shit? See, I'm not a fan of ICE, man. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that shit. I know, even in a non-political stance, if you pick a side, even though they're both the same side, probably still lean a little quote-unquote right. If you put a gun in my head, the quote-unquote protesters. That's not a shock either. That's not a shock either. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. She went to their operation to impede them. Listen, like I said, I'm not a fan of either. In this case, either side. I didn't know that. I'm not paying attention. And I know a lot of this news depends on who you get shit from. If you're looking at left-wing news source, I'm sure they're not talking about anything negative the protesters do. Look at a right-wing news source, they're not going to talk about anything negative that ICE does. That's how that shit goes. That's why you try not to be on either side, because neither side is for you. Neither side is going to put food in your belly. Neither side is like, oh, man, your hours got short this week. Okay, I got you. None of these motherfuckers is going to do that. I don't want to fuck with police. Like, I get that police are not guys. I get that police, and I'm just consider ICE, law enforcement, let's just say law enforcement, police, whatever. I get that they're not guys. I get that they do a lot of fucked up things. Lord knows I see enough with my algorithm, and it's like, you see cops doing really unbelievable fucked up things, impeding people's rights. I get that, and I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying anything, but unless at the end of the day they got guns and you don't, if you do, are you gonna get in a shootout with the police? You know what I'm saying? So to some extent, it sucks. Right, which I'm not saying that. Again, I didn't see the video. It looks like I've seen arguments about it without seeing the video because I don't want to watch somebody die. Regardless of who was in the right, who was in the wrong, I'm not trying to fuck with police. To survive, survivability is a thing. Sometimes you gotta try. And then there's a lot you can get into with that, like why, But that doesn't make it right either. Because again, I'm not a big fan of how ICE is getting down. I'm never a fan of the looter protester either. It's like if we drove downtown, saw SWAT serving a warrant at a house, ran in front of them and blocked the door and said they can't go in. It is similar, but I guess I still have a feel. I don't necessarily know that ICE is like that, right? But like I wouldn't do that. This is why I keep to myself. I wouldn't do this at all. I can't try to imagine the logic of someone. And honestly, I feel bad that they've talked protesting into what it is. Protests have never solved anything. They tell you this lie about the 60s and the 70s and the 50s that these people protested and that's why there was social change. That's the lie that public education and the narrative has taught you. When these things happen because the powers that be want them to happen economically. That's the only reason. Now, I'm saying that knowing that some of those protests were also astroturfed in the first place in order for the powers to be to do what they do economically. But as an individual, and because you do have the right, you fucking have the right to free speech, right? You do have the right to free speech. You do have the right to protest things. And again, I'm not a big fan of ISIS tactics either, right? I don't think everything they do is constitutional. And I don't want the precedent of non-constitutional law enforcement. Not to say that I necessarily think open borders is a good thing. I don't think open borders are a good thing. And I don't think that back and forth of the political sphere exacerbating this is a good thing either. So yeah, he had been run over before. She definitely picked the wrong guy. They are people like everyone else. Yeah, that's why I'm not trying to fence ride, because the true answer is, hey, AJ, I'm gonna say Abomination AJ. So but hey, AJ, today's Wednesday? Okay, I'm like, wait, shouldn't you be streaming? It's Wednesday. It's not. Oh no, wait, what's today? Is today Thursday? Today's fucking Thursday. I'm so off. Fuck what I'm talking about. Never mind, AJ. Thank you for being here. And listen, I'm not expecting to talk about this ICE shit, because I haven't been paying attention to it. So, and I hate to keep saying that too, but it's just like I hadn't. So yeah, it's Thursday. I'm way the fuck off. Way the fuck off in this life. To show you how fucking off I am. So I hadn't been paying attention to it. Maybe I should pay just at least a little bit of attention, because one way or another, this is the shit they gonna do to affect. They're gonna use whatever they can to affect everybody else. If I am a conspiracy theorist, and I do believe they want a complete police state, then I should be paying attention to shit like this, at least tangentially, to at least know what narrative they're pushing out to the people. But this does sound fucked up, and I just hope the least loss of life can happen, the least impingement and injury to all people could happen, and this could end. That's all I hope. I don't have like I said, I'm not a big fan of this, but I'm also, I'm not a big fan of the looter shooters either. You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. That's not cool. That's not cool to take advantage of a crisis and exploit it. Even though Lord knows the powers that be do that, but you exploiting your own people as far as just the normal part. I don't mean as a racial thing. I mean as a human thing. We're all each other's people, right? So whoever it is exploiting whoever it is, it's fucked up to use this to fuck up. Imagine a group of people chasing around the FBI all day, breaking in their vehicles. You keep saying that these law enforcement. Nah, listen again. I don't think that's right either. I don't think protesting. I don't think that's right to be constantly fucking with ICE, but at the same time, it's like they're not the FBI. That's part of this is why they're protesting it. They don't want you to think of it like that, right? I'm trying to look at it from both sides, right? So a lot of motherfuckers are looting. A lot of motherfuckers are taking advantage of a bad situation, and they're just assholes. And I'm not trying to cape for them. But what I am trying to say is, if for the people that believe, for the people who think I'm trying to change the world and I'm down for the cause type shit, for them, I don't want ICE doing their job to be as normal as the police doing their job. That is part of what is being protested at a spirit. That's the counter I would agree with. That is still a federal agent, no matter who they are with. I wouldn't have done this. Listen, I wouldn't have done this. Who knows why I got shot because I'm a big black dude. But I wouldn't have done any of this shit at all, ever, right? In 100 million years. So I'm trying to think for somebody who is not me. And listen, there's also people who say, shit, it's an opportunity. Let me see if I can. Just like I saw a post like, why do people steal Amazon packages when they don't know what's in them? And I've been wondering that too. Like, why is that such a common thing? You might be stealing like fucking worm medicine and like dog food. Like, what do you like? You know what I mean? Why do you have to steal Amazon package? But some people just want to take advantage of any situation. They don't give a fuck. It's fucked up, but these people exist. They're everywhere, right? Most people, 99.9, exactly, 99.9% of people, or most people, are sensible not to get involved in this shit anyway, right? I would say 99.9%, but you do got crazy motherfuckers. No, they shouldn't be harassing law enforcement doing their job. I don't think they should, right? I don't. So, like I said, I probably sound like I'm fence sitting. What the hell is sense fitting? The fuck does that mean? Fence sitting, and I may be, but I guess because I'm trying to generate opinions on the fly for shit that, like, I just hope this doesn't affect me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That's my real hope. I hope nobody else dies or get hurt, and nobody else gets any damage to them, and it ends as peacefully as possible, and that it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Those are my only hopes. I don't really have a political thing. Like I said, not a fan of ICE, but also they are federal agents. You shouldn't be. I'm not going to harass a federal agent with a gun about some shit that's not indirectly dealing with me, right? Independent of the whole fucking conversation about immigration and how it should be handled, I wouldn't have done this in a trillion years, in infinite space time, in infinite multiverses. It would have never occurred. But some people would. Again, it's mentally ill people. And yeah, at this point now, I see it done, but riot. I do see a lot of rioting, right? But I have seen shit where them raiding people. They raided like it was like a middle school or something. They had kids on the ground. I've seen some fucked up ICE videos. That's why, like I said, it depends on what you've seen. Some people may have not seen these fucked up videos of ICE like fucking with kids and putting people on the ground. A lot of people who are citizens. And if you don't see these videos, you'll think, well, nothing's happening but these, just the leftist violence and all that shit. No, ICE has done some fucked up things. This is not all, hunky-dory. Not caping for the fucked up things that protesters and looters are doing. Yeah, you said just hadn't seen it. And that's why I worry about the binary news source thing. It's very easy to not see things that may or may not change your mind, or at least open your mind on the subject, if you just don't see it, right? Or if you do just see it, if you just see stuff on this side, like if all you see is protesters stealing shit, you're going to be more inclined to be on the quote-unquote ICE side. If the opposite, all you see is all these them raiding schools and shit, and kids crying and shit, you're like, what the fuck? And you might get so spirited that you hop on a plane and go to Minnesota to harass federal agents and nearly run over and get shot. You know what I'm saying? So, which goes back to the original premise, right? It would be simpler simpler to kind of stay out of it. But shout out to the family that tried to and still got hurt. And I guess just the less there's a lot of nuance there. There's maybe there's no lesson. I'm trying to make one where there isn't. But life's fucked up sometimes. Sometimes there is no winning, just losing in different ways, man. So again, hopefully no one else gets hurt, and because no one else should be getting hurt over this shit. No one else should be. If it was calmer, it would help. Yeah, people on the hair trigger. Everybody's on edge. Everybody's been on edge since 2020. Everyone has a more on edge spirit about everything. Hey, Cotton, appreciate you being here. I saw a video on metalcore, and I thought of you. Apparently, is metalcore not real metal? ? I guess they were talking about like some of the pop metal bands, Sleep Token, and what was the other one? Has a chick. Oh, what the fuck was that band's name? And I remember I tried to play Sleep Token. Y'all really shit on me. And I thought Sleep Token was fun, but I'm not a super metalhead. But I saw that video and I thought of you because you're the metal guy, right? And yeah, that's now 6 years. Pandemic is 6. We're 6 years after they said 2 weeks to stop the spread. And was it March 13th? I think is the kind of unofficial date. So we're in 8 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks. It'll be 6 years for from 2 weeks to stop the spread. And even though it does actually feel like 6 years because just so much of life has progressed, it also feels short. Lamb of God announced a new album. Dope. J. Cole also announced a new album like a couple days ago. Shout out to music. Saying metal has to be a specific thing drove in underground and almost to obsolescence. Well, yeah, I like Sleep Token. Apparently, y'all agreed because when we were playing a bunch of metal, I played some Sleep Token. It was like the mood had changed. I'm like, well, fuck. This was an episode maybe a year or so ago. Y'all, we had gotten on a metal kick, and I liked some of it. And I was like, oh yeah, y'all heard of Sleep Token and like in the metal something space, and shit, y'all was not happy with that. I was like, it was Nas and fucking Cotton was just like, yeah, Sleep Token blows. So yeah, apparently people fucking don't like Sleep Token. What is the other band that it's like I guess a pop metal band? It has a female lead. Oh my god, I gotta. No. It's not Bring Me to the Horizon, even though they were, I think, mentioned. Metalcore bands. Female vocalist. Spirit Box. They were mainly talking about Sleep Token and Spirit Box and how their sound is not metal and whether or not it should be considered metal. And I was like, oh man. Baby Metal is ear rape. I didn't think they were terrible. I remember somebody fucked that band too. See, I wanted to see what you thought. Had shots with Lamb of God backstage one time. That's dope. Brandon Howland's kind of done everything. So yeah, saw that. So yeah, it was March. And Fizz says I haven't accomplished anything since 2020 was when I turned 18. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hey, you've tried things, so those trials all add up to an accomplishment. I mean, I haven't accomplished shit really my whole life if I look at it from one perspective. But from another one, I've lived and I've done all these different things and I've went to different places. So don't hold it against yourself. I hope the job situation can improve because that sucks. But don't feel bad. It ain't your fault. It's only the worst economy I've ever seen in my entire life, and the worst economy a lot of people have ever seen. So you can only do what you can do. But I mean, shit, that fucking pandemic fucked up a lot of people's spirit. It fucked up a lot of things. And so it's gonna be, it's gonna be a challenge to get past that. And I think that's why there is such an on edge spirit. There is such a people just feel like, just ready to just burst. Hey, pause for that. Hey, Slasher McSplitter. Appreciate you being here. Check out Slasher if you haven't subbed to him. He does a lot of retro game streams, and then he'll do different roundtable streams with Vinny Art and a few other people. And those are pretty cool, usually on an old movie, like an old B movie from the 80s or 90s. So, yeah, check out Slasher. Pretty cool channel. Pretty chill channel. Never said who caused it. Yeah, they really didn't. We can guess. But, the powers that be caused it, whatever you want to say. Thank you, and hope you're doing okay, man. Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, we're still dealing with the fallout. Even this, that story we were just talking about Minnesota. That's unfortunately part of the fallout. I don't know if we'll ever. It's, that was such a unique thing. The only thing I can compare it to, and it didn't last as long. It only lasted a couple of days. There was a blackout on the East Coast that affected Michigan too. What was it, 2003, 2004? It's such a strange thing where it was a massive power outage. I don't know if we ever got an explanation for that. But that's not something that had this lasting impact. It was just this weird couple of days in the summer of 03 or 04, whenever it was. And that was it. But it affected like millions of people. That people being locked in their doors, scared that they were going to die if they went outside, and wearing a mask and different political unrest and Black Lives Matter and everything's political. You can't you want some escapism. You can't build a computer. Remember, we talking about the computer prices and computer part prices now. They were fucked up then. So you couldn't play video. If you did play video games and you could get something working, you would get some fucking, you were getting fucking Last of Us with Joe getting his head split and a bunch of lesbian butt sex. And it was the summer of 03. Shout out to 2003. And no one ever talks about it. Like it didn't happen. It's this weird thing that billions of people experienced it. It just went. The entire Eastern Seaboard shuts down for like 3 or 4 days or 2 or 3, whatever. I don't know. Maybe it was a week. Who knows? The entire Eastern Seaboard shuts down. The only thing that really worked was like radio, right? And remember, this is a different era. We have cell phones, but we don't have the modern cell phones. We got the Nokia bricks, if anything. We still got house phones in this bitch. And then just everything just was gone for a few days, and then it just came back on. And we were just all told to just go back like nothing happened. Go back to life as usual like nothing fucking happened. Neighborhood was okay by nighttime. Oh, really? I think it took us a couple days in my little, at that time, we had just actually moved out of Detroit. So at first I thought it was just like, damn, this city poor as fuck. What the fuck we moved to? And then it was like, oh, no, this is the whole East Coast. So that's dope. It took a few days for my area where I was at. Yeah, that shared awful experience of the pandemic. People are shaken by it, and some people are you know, I I had been noticing a trend in like the massiveness of depression anyway. Throughout the tens, right? You had the emo rap phase and stuff, but man, I think the rates of depression post pandemic, during and post pandemic, are just sky fucking high. I think we can safely say at least more, if you don't want to say more people are mentally ill than are not, it's a safe bet that a significant portion of people are mentally ill. That the number that is one in a number that you can count on your hands is mentally ill. Remember, that's 1 in 5. It's 20%, 1 in 4. It's 25, 1 in 3. It's obviously 32 or 33%. Something like that. Something along those lines. Shit only happened in cities. No one else cared about COVID. Well, I was in the city there. I was in Charlotte, which is, kind of a purple city or more of a blue city, to be honest. But I remember after a while, I did stop wearing my mask way before the mask mandates ended. I did stop after a while. I'm not going to keep doing this. This is stupid. So. Yeah. Yeah. It was rough business. It was rough business. What do you do? What do you do? And you say, I remember my brother, he did something. I want to say because he had so many military friends, so he's always traveling somewhere. And he said, motherfucking, he went to a gas station, and they were grilling him about politics and shit like that. And I want to say Montana, one of the Dakotas, something like that. You only have to wear a mask once to go into a government building. I see. Yeah, I was wearing a mask to the grocery store at first, and then I'm like, man, this is stupid. But they were really turning you away. But once I realized, once I started seeing other people without masks, I was like, oh shit, y'all. Because as long as y'all not gonna turn me away, y'all not gonna I don't give a shit what anyone thinks at that point. But they were literally not letting you in the building if you didn't wear a mask at grocery stores. So I was like, well, fuck, I gotta do something. So that was the only reason I was wearing a mask, was that. Only reason I would wear a mask is I gotta do it to get inside this building. But once people stopped doing that, I stopped wearing it. Because once I'm like, other people, so they let him get in? Or they let me get in because I'm here all the time, so they going to let me get in. So, yeah. Yeah, the only thing I did get out of it, this is going to sound fucking crazy. This is going to sound fucking crazy. When the George Floyd thing happened, I went to the same Publix pretty much the entire time in Charlotte. Even though I moved to two places, but it was still close to the same Publix. I went to the same Publix most of the time. So, I'm pretty much a regular. I still love the pub sub, miss the pub sub, even though I'm in Houston. When I don't know if he was trying to like help a brother out, but the guy just gave me a free Publix sub after George Floyd died, and I thought it was kind of crazy. What the fuck? But he just it was so weird. I forgot what we were saying, but it was because of George Floyd that I got a free Publix sub. So I guess I did get something, which was crazy. It made no sense. But shout out to that dude because those subs are awesome. I guess rest in peace, George Floyd. I know I've been seeing speaking of George Floyd, I've been keep seeing these fucking Christian Kirk memes. Not Christian Kirk, Charlie Kirk. I made the opposite mistake of fucking Stephen A. because he called Christian Kirk Charlie Kirk. I did the opposite. I keep seeing these memes and these things of, I guess, apparently Charlie Kirk was around Kanye a lot because of that fucking, remember when Candace Owens and Kanye, I guess he was around that era of Kanye. Plus, he was a quarterback or he was a high school player. He was training with Jimmy Garoppolo back in the day, who took a team to the Super Bowl, believe it or not. So it's just weird to constantly see this guy in all these different places. Like he was, again, had no real interest in him before. It's very weird to see him in all these places. And hey, Ogre Squasher, appreciate you being here. Greetings. Happy New Year if we haven't said it to you. Have to grab a mask when I go to my chemo treatments, but you take it off when you walk away from the desk. I hope everything's going good with that Slasher. I remember you said you had a health issue. And I remember correctly, I think you may even put a video out on it too. So I hope you have. Hope everything works out, man. Always appreciate Ogre Squasher. Thank you for showing up. Brandon Holmes said I got yelled out so much for pulling my mask down to say things to people because they couldn't understand you when you wore it. Yeah, it was hard to understand. Everybody talking like Bane. It's fucking impossible to understand. And then people get mad if you, because you might be spreading the germs. But like, how is this mask supposed to stop? That was such a stupid thing. And then it's still weird to me. It's weird that they pushed masks so hard, they pushed vaccines so hard, and they just stopped. Everybody sound like Kenny off South Park, right? They just pushed it so hard and it stopped. I say that, this channel still to this day, and maybe still cursed to this day because of medical misinformation from like 2 years ago. It wasn't even during the pandemic. And I had said something, I don't remember what the conspiracy theory was, but I said something about a conspiracy theory dealing with the jab. And they got mad at me. And they gave me a medical misinformation, even when I disputed it. And I'm never, they want me to take some sort of, what do they got the word for? A policy training, and I'm never going to take it. And if I get the warning again, I guess I won't be able to upload. So I got a community guideline strike. I will never, ever take the policy training. And if that means my channel will never grow, then my channel will never grow. I'm cool with that. Yeah, the jab didn't stop it. And the mask was worthless. We just herd immunity like everyone said was going to happen. But you're right, it wasn't a tool to stop illness. It was a tool to stop compliance. We've seen people pass on from that early. I'm still worried. I got family members that taking the jab. I'm blessed they're here. I never did take it. I never wanted to take it. I remember as late as 2022, it was still places that wanted you to take the jab. That was a whole thing. That was a whole thing. Not to reminisce from 2020, right? When they reminisce over you, your pure blood gang. Why eat processed foods? I don't know how pure my blood is, right? But goodness, that was a huge, huge thing. This is why things are still politicized to this day. This is why people, so because it did come to their door. You know, I don't know if Richard's still here, if he's lurking or not. His big thing is, you know, why focus, and I'm similar, but you know, focusing on what you can control, do the best with that, not necessarily focus into the bullshit. Gee, she said she took it. Now she took it to the oxygen tank, which I'm very much sorry to hear. Very much sorry to hear that. Coincidence? I don't know. I don't know either. I'm not a medical professional, but I know everybody didn't have the best reaction to it. That much I feel like can be said safely. And they were pushing it, and a lot of people lost their jobs. I'm blessed that that didn't come up. I'm beyond blessed that didn't come up, man. I'm blessed I got the job when I did. Golly. Because, you know, I ended up getting a job. Went to the doctor a couple days ago. You lost 40 pounds in the last year? Congrats. Man, I got to get like you. You got off of that Mountain Dew, and you gotten a lot healthier just off of that. I got to do that. Yo, so congrats. Congratulations. So I got to do that because you had lost some weight and it got better just from the first year. I forgot when you cut out Mountain Dew, probably like a year and a half ago, 2 years. It's been a minute. So shout out to cut. Don't drink soda. And shit, I saw something about how fucked up diet soda is too. That's a little bit better, but don't drink that. I mean, also, and you said you've been being careful about what you're eating. Yeah, try to eat and drink as little processed shit as possible. I mean, cut out soda a year ago. So dope. And congrats. Hopefully I can get like you. Hopefully, you know, next year I can be anything down. Shit, I'll take 40 pounds. I'll take 20 pounds. Didn't realize Mad was hating so hard. Drake May at 94. Stroud at 78. Jesus. But you know what? If they going off of last game, that's accurate. That's accurate. Because Stroud, man, I think Stroud is still dealing with concussion stuff. It's funny. Everybody was calling for Davis Mills to SAS on Instagram. Yes, the shit is sports. Going back to pop. Slasher says he can't drink anymore. He takes a sip, feels like he's dying. And Cotton, which I agree, the shit is poison. Shit is absolute fucking poison. The stats were the same last game. What about the turnovers though? I'm thinking about Stroud. I know that you can blame some of that on the center too, but five basically dropped snaps, 2 of which got turned over. Though that's what I'm really thinking about. That's what I'm worried about. I mean, at the same time, CJ's made good throws, and Christian Kirk had a good game. A lot of it was CJ too, right? But like I said, my thing about, and I was not on. I thought Davis Mills was okay in relief, but I don't think he's been anywhere close to what CJ can give you. But if CJ is still having concussion issues, which I hope I'm wrong, but I think he is, then you know what? I didn't think of it. They both had 2 fumbles and 1 interception. You know what? They really did. I don't remember Drake May having 2 fumbles, but I'm sure you're correct. I do remember the pick. But yeah, that's kind of bullshit. Now that you frame it that way. But it don't matter. Texans are going to win. Texans are winning the title. Stroud had a higher QB rating. That's actually crazy. I think the Texans are going to win. I honestly think the defense is so good. no matter what happens, they're gonna go. I think it's gonna be Seattle, Houston is the Super Bowl, and I don't because all the teams seem flawed. None of the offenses are so great they can't be stopped by either Seattle or Houston. Those are the two best defenses, and we're gonna have the two best defenses in a Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl game is probably gonna be a high scoring game as a result. So that's my guess, and hopefully that puts an end to this quarterback centricness when Sam Darnold and C.J. Stroud are the quarterbacks, which both are solid quarterbacks, but I don't think either will put either as a top 5, top 10 quarterback. Some people might have tried last year to put Darnold in the top 5 when he was with Minnesota, but he throws way too many picks to be a top 5 or even a top 10 guy this year. But it doesn't matter because it's not all about the quarterback. It's about fucking complete fucking football teams. I think JSN will struggle to do well against, second time the charm, hopefully, because Seattle did beat Houston earlier in the year. But I would pick Houston to win this one. Like I said, I'm riding with Houston to the wheels fall off. Hey, Scrambles, appreciate you being here. He's back from outer space. Appreciate you being there. Yeah, he was going crazy. We'll see what he does this week. And we'll see if I'm right. Because the Rams are still a team. The 49ers are still a team. The Bears, they may be a team. They could be a team of destiny. They keep having all these crazy-ass things happen. Hey, what's up, Scrambles? Appreciate you being here. Not much is up with me. Just sitting here rambling on the internet as usual. We've talked about everything from the stuff going on in Minnesota to pandemic to the Houston Texans. They won by 8 back when Houston reverted all the fixes. Yeah, that's true. Houston was not the same team. Houston was not the same team when Seattle won that they are now. But I don't know if Seattle was either. I mean, they've had that game they had against the Rams a few weeks ago, where they had that crazy comeback. I think that was a turning point for them because their offense, even though I still thought their offense was all hit and miss. I mean, Darnold still threw like 3 picks that game. He'll throw some picks. But they realized, hey, we can come back. We can be explosive offensively. If our defense fails, we can still win games. That's the advantage they have over Houston. If Houston defenses fails, I don't think they can still win games. If if Seattle defenses fail, Seattle's defense fails, they still have a chance. And that's what they realized. But I also don't think their defense is quite as good as Houston either. Even though I think it's the next best. I don't really believe in the Denver defense. Shout out to Patrick Surtain. Shout out to, I can't think of that pass rusher. He's pretty good. They have something there. They're not slouches. But I don't think there's levels to this shit, as they say. Seeds can come in slow. That's true. Number 1 seeds can come in kind of slow in the divisional because of that extra week. That's true. Haven't had time to string yourself, busy with work and trying to spend more time with your lady. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Got to make this money. Got to spend time with the lady. So that's cool. That's cool. I wish you the best. Wish you the best. I haven't had time to do music like I want to. I mean, I've written some stuff, but honestly, I feel like too stressed. Too stressed to do music. Just like, I was just panicking. Really panicking over this home thing. I'm hoping I can smooth it out. And I don't know why. I guess, not to be totally, I really don't have the money to be buying a house, right? But my credit's a little bit better than I thought. And it's like, well, I don't know if this is the best time to buy a house or the worst time. I have no idea. But I haven't had too many opportunities where I could actually do it. I have tried to buy a house a few times in my life, right? The last one was a few years ago. I tried to buy one in the early 2010s in Michigan. And and then I ended up losing my job and all that. So really, I guess this is only the third time now that I think about it. Well, I feel like it was a fourth. In any event, it never happens. I'm hoping this time it actually happens, and I'm hoping this is what worries me about looking for houses. Like, you look for a house, oh man, everything's great. Oh yeah, but the roof is old enough to drink. It's like, fuck, man. You know what I'm saying? Fuck. Especially because it rains like crazy in fucking Houston, man. It rains like crazy. Then you see some shit. Speaking of Houston, oh yeah, somebody got robbed. Somebody, they constantly stealing packages, Amazon packages. They constantly robbing motherfuckers. All sorts of shit keep happening. Like, man, I don't want to do this shit. But then again, I guess that shit can happen anywhere on Earth right now, right? And technically, crime's supposed to be down, which I kind of believe, kind of don't. I don't know. But definitely worried. Definitely just stressed. It's just like, even when you're not actively doing something, it's just a panic and a stress. It's like I can't think of anything else. I hate to just tell y'all. It's why I'm streaming, talking to strangers, telling y'all about it. Because it's just like, it's overwhelming. And I did not expect that. I did not know it was like that. Has anyone in the chat bought a house? Am I the only one? Because I'm like, this is, and if so, how did y'all get through the nerves and the stress of the situation? Because I'm so afraid I'm a buy a house and then the economy's going to crash, something going to happen to my job, and or I'm buy a house and the fucking plumbing system or electricity or the roof or something important is going to blow the fuck up. Had a house in 2007, lost it before your divorce a few years later, filed bankruptcy in 2013. Yeesh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Very sorry to hear that. That's tough. Sheesh. So yeah, I don't know. It ain't y'all business, right? I ain't gonna put too much stress on y'all. You said it happens, it does happen. That that's what I'm worried about, right? But if it happens, it just happens, man. I guess because you do get a lot of power in life, but you only get so much of it, right? The truth is, we don't have complete control. That's not to cape. That's not to say it's okay to fail, but you don't have complete control over everything in life, and you may or may not make some mistakes along the way because you're human. So if things if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. If things fall off the rails a little bit, you just gotta believe in your ability. You can't not proceed with something because you're scared of it falling off the rail. And I'm telling myself this, right? I'm trying to give myself a pep talk, but we're on the internet. You can't just not do something because you're scared you may fuck it up. Maybe you will. I mean, you might. But you still got to try to progress because you got to believe in yourself to adapt to whatever the fuck is going to happen anyway. Better news, download compatibility mods for New Vegas. I'm going to just one of these days just download New Vegas. I'm surprised. You're going to be shocked one day. You're going to just see the thumbnail. Oh, shit, he playing New Vegas finally. No, I know. Honestly, though, it kind of had the opposite effect. Because when you see those words, as far as, divorce, even though I'm not married, but just, on one respect, you say, oh, man, this is, man, you had divorce and bankruptcy in 2013, but it's like, well, you're still here now. Like, you didn't evaporate to thin air just because you had to file bankruptcy. You still are allowed to be a human. You have a job in a place, and I know you engaged now. So it's like, okay, you just telling your story, and you realize, hey, somebody can have a bad thing happen, and they can still bounce back from it. So it ain't the end of the world if it does fail. Okay, well, just bounce back from it. Think this game tends to crash. Probably would happen. Shit. OBS was trying to crash. I don't know if it was the last stream or the stream before that. Wouldn't even fucking start for some reason. I don't know what the hell the issue was. But yeah, it's like, okay, scrambles bounce back. Maybe I can if it all fucks up. Let me stop being so scary. Because I mean, it is what it is. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. It's gonna be probably shitty boring when I play New Vegas too. Don't if I do, I'll ask for backseat gaming because I don't want to be backseat game. I have thought about playing more games too on these streams because why not? Why not? And I appreciate anyone joins these streams because it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So let's see. Because y'all can be anywhere else in the world, but y'all here with me, listen to me ramble. Have we already gone an hour? It looks like we have. I was just on an hour. That's pretty cool. Always cool. But yeah, I kind of, you kind of had the opposite effect. Kind of talked me into it. Like, hey man, you can get over it. If you don't ever try to play Kenshi on stream, you're gonna die and restart on the first stream. Fair enough. I've played some difficult games. I've played that fucking Wukong is a nightmare, which I still have, and I haven't even tried to play it again because I'm not in a. I did a couple of Souls-like games. I did that and Liza P, which I like Liza P a little bit more, honestly. But man, that shit was rough. That shit was real rough. Those bosses were just so stressful. I don't got time for nothing stressful. I'm almost at like a mental freeze right now where I don't feel like I am so riddled with anxiety. I don't want to do shit. I don't want to I have nearly incapacitated by anxiety of my own making. And so I barely want to move. Not to, sound... not to. Vigilante does not want to kill himself, right? In case I say something to piss somebody off. But I just feel like, oh my god, it's just this living situation. I just hope I don't fuck it up. But even if I do, I gotta say, hey, then I'll just figure it out. Just figure it out. That's what people do. Life isn't perfect. We figure it out along the way and do the best you can. Cause what else you fucking do? You can only control what you can control. You do the best you can with what you can control. You can't control, we talked about the story, the poor guy trying to get his family out of the situation and drove his family into the situation. You may think, well, he should have stayed home. We could have stayed home, had the same thing happen. When Flashback get to his house, then he was like, man, I should have left. You don't know what the fuck is going to happen, man. So all you can do is the best you can do with the information you have at the time and with the situation you have at the time. Because that's it. And you just got to live with it. That's it. And that's why I got to kind of tell myself, hey, man, you can't. Because otherwise, I did see some of that. I Show Speed's Africa tour has changed the perception of the continent. I did see some of that. He's gone to different places in Africa. I saw Kai Cenat, speaking of streamers, is retiring or quitting. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. But that is pretty cool. I think for years with those fraudulent charities and all they would show with just kids with fly stuff to their face for decades, that had such a negative impact. And Lord knows not a dime went to any charitable organization. Speaking of which, whatever happened, I don't know if you guys know this story. There was a story of this chick who impersonated a nurse and impersonated I guess she was working for a charity, but she impersonated a medical professional. A lot of people died, a lot of children died, like hundreds of people died in her care. Crazy shit. I don't know whatever happened to that story. It just disappeared. Totally disappeared. Most charities try to convince people that Africa was made up of countries that can barely get by. Tribal say, yeah. And you can see that it's a lot more developed than that. a lot of places. Though there's still some issues, some places, right? Uh, but that's cool. That perception needs to change, especially as we're seeing the potential. I don't know if reversal, but we're seeing that there's a chance the powers that be have elected a different country outside of America to be the head of the world. Whether that's China, rather that's just more of an emphasis on what they now call the global South. I had heard the term until past few years, like Venezuela but black. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically either all tribal or like yeah, that's pretty much it. Fizz, you kind of hit it nail on the head. Um, but shit, America's getting more third world by the day. In 10 years, who knows how it's gonna be? Who knows, man? I can worry a lot, man. I don't want to spend all of my life worrying. I have spent all my fucking life worrying. Shit, it's rough. It's fucking rough business. It's rough business. But yeah, hopefully I can just lock in, get this fucking music out. Um, and I definitely got to get it out before we move. Cause it should. I mean, I got the first EP out. It's still out. It's still out on platforms. Borrowing nostalgia that doesn't exist. You can still listen to it if you haven't. But I do feel like, and I get my limit. Okay, at least I know most of y'all. If y'all wanted to hear it, y'all heard. I am going to probably do a video for it, and then one of the songs. And I'm gonna start working on the next project and try to do videos for that as well. Now that I know I can do I can just remove the background without having to set up a green screen. I might do a lot more easier videos and then just worry about doing the background, keeping them simple and keeping an aesthetic, especially because I have a VHS camera, so I can use that as kind of an aesthetic thing, and I have a capture card for it. So, speaking of my music, I found this out. Let me see if it still does the same thing. If you Google Vigilante Williamson, it's not perfect, but I thought this was cool. So, haha. I don't know if it's just doing this because I'm the one Googling. So if y'all could Google this and tell me what it shows. But the AI overview, at first it talks about Fred Williamson in Vigilante, which was the first thing when I first came up with the name as the only thing I would see, right? But you look at other potential references. This is Vigilante Williamson, musician, independent hip hop artist. They even have my entertainment. Oh, they got my label too, Super Vigilante Entertainment, with songs. The songs like Bar Nostalgia that does this old school love available on platforms like SoundCloud. So the search indicates a music artist named Vigilante Williamson, but the film character is most prominently associated with the phrase. So I haven't passed the film yet, but I'm on the fucking radar. But what's crazy is it doesn't reference the YouTube at all. It references the sound. I don't got that many views on SoundCloud or Spotify. I don't got that many views. It doesn't reference this YouTube channel, which is crazy to me. But yeah, your boy is getting somewhere, at least on these digital streets. To some extent, I don't know. Question got you mad? How you got me mad? You ain't got me mad. No, that was the only reason I found out that I because we Googled his show and it was already showed up. And I was like, man, what happened when you Google me? So I'm thinking it ain't gonna show nothing. It actually shows something. But it's weird that it doesn't show my YouTube. It just shows my music, which is cool because, whatever. But whatever, you know what I mean? So I just, that's why I got that kind of, man, I got to keep dropping shit. But it said hip hop artist, fucking racist. That's a synth. I dropped the Synthwave project. I don't rap one verse. That whole fucking album, they still called it hip hop. Racist. Bigots. Google is racist. Confirmed. Google is racist. Confirmed. I had never watched the movie. I knew of it only when I came up with the name and then Google it. I'm like, okay, they kept saying Fred Williamson and Vigilante, which I guess is a secondary reference. I need to eventually watch that movie. I have to eventually watch that movie because of my name. But I came up with the name, told the story a billion times, but I'll tell it now, why not? I was inspired slightly by Kenny Omega to have a name where one name is a regular name and the other name is like something crazy. In his case, Kenny's a regular name, Omega something crazy. In my case, Vigilante's the crazy name. I flipped it. And Williamson's the normal name. My last name's not Williamson. I got that from Corliss Williamson, who's the basketball player, former sixth man of the year with the Pistons, the year before they won the championship, if I remember correctly. He was just came off the bench, had a decent post game for a three, and would score. And the idea is being he was, we wouldn't have won a championship without Corliss Williamson. Rather, most people know that. Rather, he's the most famous basketball player is irrelevant. Basically, that it doesn't matter how well known or well accounted for you are, you can still be great. You can still have undeniable greatness without people acknowledging it. Yep, he played for Arkansas. Yep. And yeah, Williamson is also an incredible common name. But so is Kenny, as far as Kenny Omega. That's the idea, that you have like a name that's, a vigilante. Though some people will say vigilante, as if that's my name on my birth certificate. Yeah, I should watch it. Have you actually seen the movie Vigilante by Fred Williamson? Or with Fred Williamson? Hey, Forbidden Ruin. Zion, your cousin Zion, distant cousins. Super distant cousin. Yo, he is a super goon, bro. He doesn't even care about the NBA. Just literally fucking porn stars and OnlyFans stars. That's sad work. I appreciate you being here, Ruin. Appreciate you being here again, Richard, because you were here earlier. Left, came back. Appreciate you being back. We ain't talk. I mean, what we talk about anytime, right? What we talk about anytime. I was talking about my anxiety with trying to buy a house, and so yeah, I saw the movie. If you ever do a round table on that movie, let me know. Even though that's not my namesake, I still have a connection to the movie just because of that. And it still is what comes up first when you Google my name. So, been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what's up. That's what's up. We were talking about a bunch of stuff. Sports. The fallout that, some of this stuff we were talking about earlier with the Minnesota stuff is still fallout from 2020, which, again, gets worse because we're 6 years away. We're 6 years after 2020. It's 2026 now. And we'll be 10 years after before you know it. Time just moves so fast. Though, at the same time, it does feel like it's been 10 years. It does feel like it's a long time from 2018, 2019. Had to have your email. Yeah. It's easier said than done for some people, man. Because there's definitely still this on-edge energy that I would say is from 2020. Not that people have never been on edge, but just since then, there's been this tenseness, man. I know sometimes I go out and you can just notice that everybody's tense. Because you know there's tension in the air, right? And so I'm already tense. And I can tell everybody else is tense. That's why I hate being in stores unless there are not that many people. Because I just want to get in and get out otherwise. Playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Must be miserable. You get one turn and you lose. Playing GOAT format, I see. Yeah, hopefully you got my email. If not, we can figure that out. Are you on Instagram or just? And I get if you're not, because a lot of times I think about jumping off. Again, I had Twitter for the longest. Now I'm like, I'm probably not gonna only two formats, regular and rush. Nah, just Twitter. Fair enough. I'm surprised you still on Twitter. You should try old Yu-Gi-Oh. I see. Are you playing like a game, like a video game? I don't. I ain't gonna say I don't totally get the yes. Okay. I could have fell down that Twitter rabbit hole, but I just found once I found myself arguing on Twitter. You love it since Elon. There's some people love it post Elon. Also had the physical cards to play them so often. I know the value of those cards going up, and then shit, the Pokemon shit. I keep seeing, there's a few different places, a few different grocery stores. They have like Pokemon kiosks. There's always somebody at one of those Pokemon kiosks. A lot of times they're sold out. A lot of times those are sold out. You can just look at the screen. Everything got like a little. It's like faded away. Was sold out going through it. Get a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Dual Academy for GBA. I see. Shouts to Game Boy Advance. Man, I saw went to the pawn shop just because it was near the place I was getting food from, and I'm also thinking about getting a pawn shop laptop, just to start doing game development because I feel like if I'm especially I'm only dealing with 2D games, I don't need the most advanced hardware. That's all social media is just a damn doom scroll. All social media. That's why a lot of times I'm just like, man, just put on a synthwave artist, put on a synthwave mix, and just ride. I'm not in Detroit anymore, even though I am familiar with American Jewelry alone. I've talked about that. Saw a video, motherfuckers. Yeah, I seen that shit too. Scales to weigh the Pokemon packs to see if there's special cards in them. And Ruin is banned from Twitter. So much for free speech platform. All these platforms got something you can say to piss people off. I was talking a little earlier about how I said something about the jab and YouTube hate me, and I didn't say shit. It wasn't even during that era. It was like, oh, I heard about this theory with the jab. I wonder if that's the thing. And that was it. I think it was some bullshit ass theory that wasn't even. Y'all know how I just be talking about shit. It wasn't even something that's like had any teeth to it. It was just some crazy shit. And they got mad about that. And I still got a community strike on my channel to this day. Because I refuse to take the corrective fucking whatever. Let me go back to it because I haven't had that thing up. Policy training. Yeah, suck my dick. Policy training is dick. Yeah, R. Kelly can still show up in your top of 2025, but VigilanteWilliamson, he's too dangerous for the people. But yeah, I've seen this motherfuckers doing that. And Fizz talking about Twitter. And this is a worry about anything. I think Instagram is going to be on it before we know it, but Twitter is still, the AI is still in their art. I think pretty much every platform is doing that. Whether they letting the people know about it or not, it's a whole nother can of worms. But I think everyone's doing that. But here's some people endorse violence, murder. Damn, you post a burning flag, and I can guess which flag it was. I can guess. Maybe a coincidence. Still trying to come up with a cool Magic the Gathering deck. Shout out to Magic the Gathering, MTG. I know I've come across so many different people who are MTG. I worked with somebody who's into MTG. Shout out to them. Shout out to hobbies, man. Shout out to the escapism. I need to get back into the retro game thing. Oh boy, yeah, I figured. Palestine and Rainbow Sex Abuse Code. Yes, both. Forget which one gave you the axe. Favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pot of Greed. I only know it because of that fucking meme post where the bitch who looks like the Pot of Greed talking about $100,000 a year is not enough. Like, bitch, you like the Pot of Greed. I have no interest in Commanders. The only MTG 4-man people play now. I see. shout out to escapism, man. Shout out to actually being able to be distracted away from a lot of the bullshit, because the world is filled with nothing but bullshit. It's been banned since like 05. It's banned since I graduated high school. And I'm starting to. I am starting to feel old. Not actually, honestly, not physically. Having worked, starting to get back working out, I'm actually starting to feel better physically. But mentally, I'm like, man. And I sent you an old picture with me question eyes, and I looked at a couple of my old pictures. I was like, man, that was a long fucking time ago. And it was only from like 2019, 2018. It was like, god damn, that feels like it's a decade ago, almost a decade. And I am very afraid of dying. I'm very afraid of. I found out a cousin is going through some medical stuff, and they may not make it. It's like, fuck. That's fucking frightening. It's fucking frightening. I honestly, before the pandemic, I didn't really have as much fear of death until after. And even though you do enough research, you realize COVID's not as dangerous as what they want put it out that. But for that first few weeks, or until I don't know if it was a few, whatever it was, till you realize what it is, I was actually legit nervous and actually like, holy shit, what happens if I die? And since then, not that I've been just moody the whole time just because of that. That a lot of shit happened, but it's just like, man, I have become more and more aware of my own mortality as each year passes. As I am now, I will be 39 this year. I will be 40 next year if I'm blessed enough to make it. It's like, holy shit, this become like it didn't hit me before. Like, oh man, like we're dead. That's it. Like, I always beforehand, it was just like, all right, when I go, I go. That's it. It is what it is. No big deal. And for some reason, since, and it feels like it's more so each year. It's like, holy shit. Say it had the opposite effect. That's good, man. I don't want you shouldn't be in fear, right? You gotta still live. But that shit, I didn't think that I would ever get hit with that. Oh man, there is a fear of death. What if I die? What happens then? And ironically, my weight has been the worst it's been in my entire life since then. So I don't know. I don't want what we were just talking about. I Show Speed. He actually, this past month, as Fizz was mentioning, he's probably changing his whole legacy for the better. When you think about the fact that he's gone to Africa, and I even saw him with that Ugandan mud wrestling thing. He's gone to Africa, and he said a lot of people's perception about Africa is changing because of his tour in Africa. I'm like, that is a positive thing. So ironically enough, he's probably improved his legacy more in this past week or month or whatever it's been than the entire rest of it. I mean, because he's got a lot of sus shit out there on the internet. I Show Speed, a lot of beyond AO pause type stuff. But hey, howdy, Tom Jensen. I've been rambling. Appreciate you being here. Always cool to see you. So, believe it or not, I Show Speed's legacy is probably, depending on how it goes. I mean, I say that he gets caught with like a furry or something. I mean, But so far, I think he's probably done more. And yeah, I mean that's the unfortunate about streamerism and about entertainment in general right now. Yeah, he probably already has. You say already has. He probably already done it on stream. He's done a lot of goofy stuff on stream. But that's the and listen, I'm not afraid of making fun of myself. I'll make fun of myself. But you do got to have some sort of standard, because the internet is just this, everyone minstrelizes themselves for attention. It's encouraging everyone to minstrelize themselves for attention. I'll repeat it. And it's like, I don't want to do that. But that's what every streamer, if you want to be a streamer, you do your streams, You do all the clips. Throughout the streams, you gotta say controversial things to go viral. And one of those clips go viral, then a couple of those clips go viral, then there you go. Now you can get stuff as a streamer. So, as a guy who's been streaming for 5 years and doesn't have as much success as a lot of streamers that started streaming since I started, I'll say, hey, that's the unfortunate gimmick of modern entertainment. I was seeing something to go back to the music thing. And sorry, I hope I don't got the hiccups. Let me get some water here. Hold on a second. Sorry, I should have muted that. I don't want to have hiccups. What was I saying? Oh, I said something about how hard it is to get attention. It's really hard to get attention on the internet. Pause. And I saw something when they were just talking about these labels and how they're able to get attention for artists and all their little marketing. That, oh yes, you got to put something towards the marketing budget. How much needs to be put towards marketing? And I can't help but to feel like so much is about marketing that the product has suffered so much, especially when it comes to music. And then, I mentioned J. Cole has an album, and the people are like, oh man, I hope it's a complete rollout, just like the Clips album. And it's like, well, that takes hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you got to pay, and you got to be on all these different platforms. You got to pay radio, a bunch of money. You got to, you know what I mean? It's just like, that's true. Some companies can't market or make a product, but marketing itself is a tough thing. I'm for some reason banned. Speaking of other internet issues, I just talked about YouTube. YouTube will at least let me buy ads. Facebook will not, because Facebook won't let me make a Facebook. DC don't know how to. No, they don't. That's a good point. DC can't market for shit. They can't make shit of that's not cringe. Though I say that I didn't see Justice League Action, which is one of the recent cartoons. There's some DC stuff I have never seen, so I can't. And I didn't watch the Harley Quinn show, which I saw tons of clips, and it seemed pretty hit or miss. But either way, the marketing was also poor. Even if you like one of those or both or neither, boy, are they bad at marketing. I think that even their Superman marketing, they didn't make me want to see it. Is it? No, it's not. Well, now it's almost 10 years ago, as in 2016. To me, that's still recent, though, because I'm old. What is Justice League Action? Probably 2017? I would say 2016. 2016. 2016, but I never saw it. And didn't really, I knew of it, but didn't know of it. They only had one season? And I didn't know Bruce Timm and Paul Dini did it. So I didn't know. I did know that Kevin Conroy was still Batman. And I think, did they have the same girl play Wonder Woman too? Now that I'm looking at it. They got 52 episodes of Justice League Action. I did not know that. Holy shit, I did not know they went that far with it. And then, like I said, they did the whatchamacallit too. So between 2016 and 2018. See, it's exactly 10 years old. But I didn't watch it. I still consider that, recent. Within the 10 years, maybe that's right on the edge of recent, but within the past 10 years of the things they've made. And then the Harley Quinn show was probably a couple years after that. When did that shit come? Yeah, I don't know if that's still if it's active. That came out 2019 and went 5 seasons. And maybe still going. That's more of an adult-oriented thing. Oh, James Gunn is absolutely a one-trick pony. You pissing? I don't know what I did for Facebook. I forgot what it says. It says some shit. like I'm banned because it's. Let me see if I can find the fucking reason. Let me try to log into Facebook. Now, at first, I was like, I didn't show my ID because when I made a Facebook, they wanted me to show an ID, and so I said, fuck it. But you can't buy ads on Instagram unless you have a Facebook. So when I try to log in, I ended up caving because I'm like, all right, this is what it says. We disabled your account. We found out it doesn't follow our community standards. Let me actually, I'll let y'all see. Let y'all see. We disabled your account. It doesn't follow our community standards on account integrity. You cannot request a review of this decision. Learn more about the reason we disabled it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not had a Facebook since 2014. And I was not Vigilante Williamson in 2014. I have done nothing on the Facebook platform in 12 years. I have no fucking clue why I can't get a Facebook. None. No, that's what I just tried to do, and that's what it says. But it allows me to have an Instagram. I don't understand it. So I can't, but as a result, I cannot use Meta ads. So I will not be using Meta ads. The only ads I can really use is Google ads. They don't tell you why. I have no fucking clue. I have no fucking clue. I haven't had multiple Facebooks and done something with them, right? And I didn't try to use like my own regular name to do a Facebook. I just said, fuck it. So I have no idea. Legacy that Harley Quinn cartoons was still going with Kite Man. What was he like? Wasn't he dating one of them? Was he dating Poison Ivy or something? If I remember correctly. They caught you spam-adding a white woman. I did not. No, but I don't know. I don't know what it did. Yeah, they cite integrity. They should at least tell you your action. I think it's really a glitch thing, but I don't have any means to do anything. Yeah, that's what happened. Had Kite Man date Poison Ivy, she left him for Harley. Because Harley and Poison Ivy got to eat each other's puss. They can't just be friends. They got to eat each other's puss. It has to happen. It's Paul Dini's fault. Didn't he create Harley Quinn? He created Harley Quinn. Everybody goons over her. So now people think she can be Zatanna. It was Paul Dini, right, who created Harley Quinn. Fizz will fact check us, hopefully. So, yeah. Yeah, that's fake book. Fuck fake book. It is what it is. I'm not crying. Even though I might need Facebook Marketplace. But I think you can do that without Facebook. At least you used to. I don't know if you still can. Without having a Facebook. It was Paul Dini. That's what I thought. So, yeah, it's his fault. He created this man. He brought this madness to the world. Even though Bruce Timm is the real perv. He the one who ruined Barbara Gordon and made her an irredeemable thought pocket. And then had Bruce as an irredeemable smut magnet. Fucking as many people who be trying to ship Wonder Bat, and in the DC universe, 'cause I think it was one of the DCAU comics that it happened, where they went like to extend the breakup between Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne, and why he became Nightwing, or maybe even after he became Nightwing, where Bruce gets Barbara pregnant, and then she gets like attacked and loses the baby, and Dick beats the shit out of Bruce because of it. It's like, who writes this shit? What's wrong with you? And then when they were doing the Killing Joke, they just say, hey, let's just add where they do the anime version of the Killing Joke. Let's just add Barbara and Bruce fucking. Just cuz. Bruce Timmons is a goonin' motherfucker. Goon motherfucker. Zatanna's literally a super witch. Fair enough, yeah. Harley Quinn doesn't have any powers, man. And he wrote that comic. Of course he did. Of course he wrote that specific issue. What a piece of shit. Saw episode Batman 66. Shout out to Batman 66. All the Penguin's henchmen are wearing shirts that say Goon. Shout out to Batman 66. I don't think some modern audiences don't get Batman 66. The idea behind Batman, first off, you got to go back to a whole concept that has died from modern entertainment, and I never thought it would die. It's called the family TV show or family entertainment. Legitimate family entertainment where we are trying to entertain all different audiences all at once. That could be somebody that's 4-year-old. It could be a complete family with a 4-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, and then 2 adults, right? We got to make something that entertains all of them. So the idea behind Batman was the kids, because even as our kid, will watch it in earnest. And that's how the show's presented. But the fun is the entertaining and kind of ridiculousness and the comedy and the unseriousness. But both levels are supposed to work together. They never break character, right? There's never a point where Batman or Robin, even when they say something that's like, what the fuck you say? Or they do something that's kind of, they even make fun of the plot armor thing. That's like the biggest joke is Batman's plot armor. He has shark repellent, right? He's prepared for every situation in a comical way. That's part of the running joke. But it's still compelling to a child. If you're under 10, you're still going to find it compelling, right? If you're over and you get that it's a joke, you'll still laugh at it. But they never break the character. They never say, ha, this is really a joke. And that's what old comedy used to do. They use now shit always like Deadpool. We got to break the fourth wall, let you know you're in the joke. They never break character. They never break the energy. They stay serious even if it's not seriousness. And that's what makes it smooth. That's why it was cool. That's why it's beloved, because their ability to do that as so seamless. And honestly, I think why a lot of it is beloved, and you can add this, that Brave and the Bold cartoon, it's cool to see a lighter Batman too. It's cool to see a Batman with some humor to it. It's cool to see a Batman. Yeah, like you said, he's a soulless incel. And as much as I want to blame Robert Pattinson for that, I got to give Christian Bale some of that blame. As good as I think he did as Batman and as Bruce Wayne, he was the first openly depressed. Yeah, there was dark elements to everyone's depiction. Val Kilmer, Keaton, and even Clooney had some darkness to his depiction. But Christian Bale was like the most obviously mentally ill of them all. And that was the one that started this wave. It started, let's be dark brooding, and everything's dark and brooding in his voice, and not as something to be made fun of. And I think that's how we end up with a Man 22. Batman 22 is everything's moody and Kurt Cobain, just like, Batman just wants to kill himself. It's like, that's not, I get that his trauma, and that's nothing. It just won't give up. Okay, why he becomes Batman is his parents. Yes, that's a big thing, but it's like, okay, Batman 66 and Brave and the Bold, some of these other things, they look at Batman as just this super competent character. Even 66, believe it or not, despite his wackiness. And it's like, okay, yes, he's inspired by this tragedy, but that doesn't have to be a defining element of him. That's his origin. That's not all he is. Where a lot of depictions, especially after Batman Begins, and a lot of recent stuff is just, gotta go back to the parents, dead parents. To the point where the Lego movie and the Lego Batman series is making fun of it. Talking about the animated series. I haven't played the games as much, and I know the new one's coming out. So I missed some comments I want to read. Yeah, they were cartoons. Minor audiences want Soulless AI Incel Batman. Absolutely. Goon. Yeah, that was the name of a bruiser in hockey. And it's been appropriated by degenerate tards. And your mom's insurance company called to schedule her annual wellness check today. I see. Well, sorry about that, I guess. Um, yeah, it is always for me. But yeah, um, yeah, sorry that kind of hit because I know it. How is everything with your mom? Is she? Because I remember you last time you said something. I know she wasn't doing well, and I'm not sure. I haven't asked you since, honestly. So I'm not, but I am asking now, not to. It's up to you. But she did pass. Oh, she passed away. Oh man, and I'm sorry if you did say that and I forgot. I apologize. I apologize, brother, and you know, I'm glad that you at least got to spend so much time with her, taking care of her. So, yeah. So at least you got to spend as much time. At least you did the best you can. At least I know you had a few years taking care of her. So I'm sorry about that. That's why I kind of thought that happened. I'm surprised the insurance company called. Yeah, I'm surprised they called too. But I'm sorry that happened. Sorry that happened. Like I said, time keeps slipping over to the future. Things keep time does not stop for no man. They say that, and sometimes you hear it. And okay, I'm like, I don't necessarily need time to stop. But as it passes on and things change, and as the time process, the aging process, the it's I don't know if scary is the right word because you don't want to be scared, but it's taxing. I'll say that. So, but thank you for still showing up here, man. Hopefully we've been able to cheer you up and keep you thinking about something else. So shout out to Mama Jensen. Rest in peace. And apologies if you did tell me and it slipped my mind. I'm a human being and I apologize because that's important. So I try to keep up with y'all and remember stuff to the best of my ability. Like I said, I have stress. I smoke weed, so please forgive me. Blame my head, not my heart. I love all y'all I love all y'all just for being y'all, for showing up. Y'all don't have to show the support, and just for it's cool. It's cool hang every so often, every few nights when I can stream with y'all for an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes longer. Pretty cool. It's pretty fun. So I appreciate y'all. I know everybody's got their own lives. Everyone's in a different part of life. Got their own goals and things going on. I just wish everybody the best, man. Because life is tough. Life is tough. Life is tough and life is short. And I've become keenly aware of both. And I guess all you can do is move forward and do the best you can. There are worse lives being led. I don't think anybody in here is like a fucking psycho or anyone in here is doing anything bad to people, to my knowledge. I mean, y'all could be telling me anything, right? But I appreciate everybody being here. I really do. Really do. So, yeah. Mr. A might disagree on what? What would Mr. A disagree with? That everybody's not a psycho? I don't know. I think I'm gonna see what Mr. A might disagree with, and then I'm probably gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's been cool to stream. We're getting close to 2 hours. That's usually my tap out time. I was thinking about going to the gym. I'll go tomorrow. I went yesterday. Had leg day. Wasn't the best. My goal is just three times a week. instead of a bunch. He thinks everyone is crazy except himself. I see. I see. You know, I used to think the opposite. I used to think everybody was sane except me. I used to think everybody was sane and aware and intelligent except me when I was younger. I realized, no, motherfuckers is crazy as fuck. But on that bombshell, it is time to end. So it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night. God bless. I'll talk to everybody later. Hopefully at least Sunday. We should at least talk Sunday. Sunday. Around the same time. So, yeah. Appreciate everybody. Peace.